Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Jessica Clemons, and baby, this is a breakdown of the teaser trailer for Zach Cregger's Resident Evil. This first teaser trailer previewed at CinemaCon earlier this month, but now everyone gets to find Austin Abrams on the snowiest, scariest survival speedrun of his life. This teaser is pretty short and very quick shots, but also full of Resident Evil homages and details that you might have missed, so let's break it down frame by frame. But before we get into it, make sure to check out the latest and greatest in New Rockstars merch. We got some great shirts, some great hats, some great sweatshirts. The shirts are my favorite. Buying a shirt from NerdRide is the best way to support the channel. Just head over to nerdride.shop to pick one out for yourself. Real quick, we want to shout out Temu for sponsoring today's video. We've been on a Temu tear lately. They've got everything. It's all super affordable, plus the delivery is reliable and they stand by their refund policy. Plus you can get stuff for literally $0. I kid you not, $0. It's super easy. Type in code KAG7932 in the search bar in the Temu app and it'll show you what items you can get for $0. If what you're looking for isn't there, you can type in the code KEK7875 into the search bar to get a $20 coupon instead. If you buy a $21 item, you can get it for $1. How is that any different than getting something for free? We got a bunch of ceramic bowls for the office, plus a balance toy and some stuff for our kitchens at home. Whatever you want, Temu has it, and maybe even for $0. Click the link in the description to check out Temu. Use our codes to get $0 items or a $20 coupon before this limited offer goes away. All right, now let's get into it. The film follows Austin, who you might remember from Weapons, who plays the character Brian, an original character for the movie and a medical courier outside Raccoon City. He must make his way to the center of the city, with the story just kind of tracking his journey through a series of intense obstacles. Cregger has mentioned that the movie takes place during the events of Resident Evil 2 in real time, but not really. And I think this is what's got a lot of fans kind of displeased with it, because y'all recognize that in the game it takes place in September 1998, and it's snowing in this movie, and Brian at one point looks like he pulls out an iPhone. However, in a lot of the interviews that I've been reading with Zach Cregger, he never said he was obsessed with the timeline per se. His love letter to Resident Evil is more about the game's feel, the cinematics, the mechanics, and even an experience of being a player dropped into this world. So the events of Resident Evil 2 happening is kind of like just in modern day for this movie. Beginning in 1996, the Resident Evil video game has always, as most known, centered around an outbreak caused by the Umbrella Corporation. And while the protagonist kind of varies from game to game, it's no surprise the franchise made its way to the big screen as a very promising adaptation. Evolving from video games into movies, series, novels, comics, and more, it became a massive IP with a deeply dedicated fan base and arguably over 3 decades of lore. So it's no surprise that, the last few installments haven't been the strongest, or respectfully haven't been even close to adaptations of the actual games. However, what Zach Cregger's trying to do here is creating an easy standalone where we are, and I quote, following a character from point A to point B because that's what the games do so well. Our opening shot is so isolating, so desolate, no zombies yet, just unnerving danger looming over us. We'll eventually make our way into Raccoon City, but we'll take detours through this movie. Cregger has clarified the whole point of this movie is he's got to get from Hospital A through the mountains and into Raccoon City to deliver something to Hospital B, and as he's going over this mountain pass, things turn bad. The movie already utilizes the game's mechanics. Cregger talked about this in his breakdown with IGN. The movie's camera styles will follow like a third-person video game. You'll see throughout the trailer as he looks around or pivots, the camera follows him. It's well choreographed, and it'll occasionally shift into first person, so we get that shooter visual kind of game style as well. So already we're enticed because we're living in a cinematic video game. He enters the house. It's dark but still low lit, and the sudden switch from the wide open snowy fields to this claustrophobic swelling room is an instant. This over-the-shoulder shot also puts us in the player's point of view. This door opening also feels like an homage to the door opening loading screen from Resident Evil 1 and 2. Keep in mind the house is unlocked in the middle of the night, which means there's probably a zombie inside, because that's how these kind of movies go. There's so much in this room and it's fairly too dark for me to even see, but I mean, yeah, there's like these small details that taxidermied animals are in the games as well in this kind of space. When we shift focus, you can see the front door and a bunch of keys on the key hook, and these keys are going to be a big focus because they're a big focus in the games, and we'll get into it a little later, but he's going to return to those keys in the movie. We cut to the close-up of the home's landline, and at first it seems like he's calling his girlfriend, and the call fails the first time, but then suddenly goes through on the second attempt, which feels a little off. But what actually happens when he gets into the frame, if you look closer, he actually quickly dials 911, and that call can't go through. Then he calls his girlfriend, and that number is successful. So honestly, 911 and all the helpers in the city aren't working right now. He might be able to make calls like outside of Raccoon City or wherever he is, but it's clear that anyone within the vicinity is not going to be getting through to him. He's leaving a message for his girlfriend apologizing for their first call falling and things happening, and on his vest it's barely legible because again it's very dark in this trailer, but it says something like lightning routine medical transfer or transport. Also in the IGN breakdown with Zach Cregger, he acknowledged the plan in this shot. He took the green herb from Resident Evil 4 and replicated the bucket. We get a shot of him running with a shotgun under the moonlight, yet he's not looking back like in the next shot we get where he doesn't have that shotgun. So something is chasing him in the next shot, and at this location I suspect he just upgrades to the shotgun. We then see him shuffling through drawers, another nod to the games. A core part of Resident Evil is you constantly searching for ammo and healing items. Your character finds a weapon but no shells, so you're searching through drawers for essential supplies. And speaking of weapons, we see that he's finally located the shotgun. Cregger said your graduation from gun to gun is his favorite part of the game, so earlier he had a pistol that will be his first weapon that he acquires, and then he'll get the shotgun, and then ultimately he'll go to the MP5. Once we get here, I assume this is Raccoon City. The production designer said they designed the city based on Resident Evil 2. Lots of bricks, lots of texture, lots of rain, and the only change they made was going heavier with the snow. They even have a place that looks exactly like the police station, which I believe it would be this police station in Prague where they shot, if it's the one nearby that they were saying. We see him having to get keys off a dead body. This is also pulled directly from the games. Keys are an obstacle. You'll sometimes have to pull keys or key cards off dead bodies. Cregger has also mentioned that padlocks being barriers will also be in the movie inspired from the games. The body is instantly pulled away by God only knows what else, and we hear the noise it might be making, and it's disgusting. And we'll save the monster talk when we get to the specific monster scenes in a little bit later. Brian takes cover, dropping into this sewer that's really giving Resident Evil 2, and like the games, we're getting sewers, Umbrella Corp lab facilities, hospitals, you name it. When he falls into the sewer and stumbles upon this Harkonnen looking beast, firstly, I love the contrast. The way that he is like bathed in this harsh yellow light pouring down from the manhole, and then it cuts to this gelatinous, almost formless mass lurking at the far end of the tunnel in this like cold blue. I love this. It's like cold versus warm, human versus inhuman. What does it mean? According to Cregger, this character was inspired by the judge in the novel Blood Meridian. It's a towering, pale, hairless figure, and while the movie doesn't have its nemesis, the character that's a hulking Frankenstein that's constantly following and killing you, this character serves as a subtle homage to that kind of looming threat that you'd get in the games. By this part of the trailer, the phone line is cutting out and it just keeps beeping, and I hate it. It's unnerving. I don't like it. It ruined my eardrums. It does this between the transitions, and it feels like the communication just breaking down will be an obstacle and a constant false sense of security in the movie. We get this great funky creature, and I know I'm gonna be obsessed with it. Cregger mentioned, without spoiling too much, it's a mechanic that he put into the movie that might be in some of the games. It's in the way that the infected interact with one another, and it pursues him throughout the movie, but it will change how it evolves over the course of the movie. Resident Evil has a bunch of bioweapons that take the form of anything from slug monsters to tyrants that get grosser and grosser as you fight them, and this could be that mechanic that he's kind of referring to, or the kind of character he's referring to. I'll also add that journalists who have visited the set have made it pretty clear we're getting some seriously gross creatures in this movie. We see the zombies rushing Brian, the first actual zombies that we get in this teaser, and Cregger has mentioned that this movie doesn't really lean on zombies. It's much more focused on the weird creature side of things. He even went on to say that the idea that the T virus is capable of so much more than just creating zombies was interesting. So limiting it only to just zombies felt like a waste of potential. So the goal was to expand what the infection can become and keep it varied and evolving throughout the film. We talked about the keys, let's talk about the doors. If there's one thing Resident Evil has done throughout their many games, it's that doors are weirdly a big focus. How we enter them, unlock them, how our character even moves through them with the camera, or simply just the reveal of zombies sneaking up on you on the other side, which you can tell is not gonna go away in this movie because here they are. As you can tell, these locations are very vast and there's actually plenty of them. The games will often start you in a grounded area, but just through the progress of the games, you go through such vast underground secret areas, and so by the end of the game, you are nowhere near where you began the story. And that's what he's trying to illustrate in this movie. According to the movie's production designer, Tom Hammock, he said that me and Zach had a great deal of fun working on the doorways and these odd transitions between spaces. So a hospital hallway leads to somewhere you don't necessarily expect. Literally, we have entire sets built where it's designed around a single shot for a single scare. Insane. We get a flipped cop car, which could be a Raccoon City police cop car. We don't know. Also, his jacket here is different from many of the other shots, so pacing wise, I feel like this shot and the next shot are earlier in the movie before he gets the heavier jacket for the snow. We see Brian wandering upon a woman twitching, and this may be another zombie moment. In the next scene, which still takes place at the hospital, Total Film ventured to the sets and mentioned how some of these creatures will appear in a scene in a hospital ward, and I think this is one of them. They describe the hospital as going full Resident Evil, covered in these massive fiberglass egg-like membranes with tentacles crawling across the walls. What the fuck? There's also this wild practical setup where stunt performers are suspended upside down above the set, trained to hold their breaths while they dump gallons of slime over them. Then the membrane just breaks and they just drop straight into the scene, all done on camera. The fuck? So I think this little scene in the hospital ward is a baby monster because that looks like a little baby's head. Post-birth? Possibly. In the middle of giving birth? Maybe. Nah, that's giving That's given 28 years later. But maybe, who knows? This is my favorite sequence in this teaser trailer because I'm a monster of a person. These zombies fall from the top of this building, hitting the cars and the ground and just exploding. The set is great, and I should add that they filmed this in Prague. There are only a couple of true zombie moments in the whole film. Creggers says maybe 3 total, and 2 of them are already in this trailer. The shot earlier, and then this sequence here when he's running through the city as zombies are basically detonating around him. Beyond that, it's not really a traditional zombie movie. The trailer ends on the Resident Evil screen. As you can see, there's vines, or what could be later revealed to be tentacles, stretching across the letters. The interesting part about this trailer is the courier part. What is in that case? Is it that dire? And why do none of us believe it's actually a heart or a lung or just any other important organ? What's so important to be risking your life to this degree? Also, has he opened it by chance? I think I would open, I guess you're not supposed to open a thing like that, but I would. This trailer looks amazing to me, and I'm very hopeful that Zach Cregger will revive this big picture franchise in a way that the fans really want. I think telling a story where we're not expanding off a 3 decades lore is a very smart idea. Just celebrate our favorite parts of the games or your favorite parts of the games. I actually prefer that over a shot-for-shot adaptation. It's a movie, not a video game, and not everything translates the same way on screen. That's also why we're not following Leon. His story already works so well. Why try to adapt it? Why try to build off that? It's already there. So if the main criticism for you or anybody watching is it's not like the games at all, I'd honestly say give it another chance. Like Fallout, it's about a new character we haven't seen before surviving inside a familiar world. It still celebrates what makes the games great, but in a way that works for film and for people who are completely new to it. Comment down below with your thoughts. The movie drops September 18th. I will be there front and center. And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, Michael Horowitz, who supports us at the executive producer level. Big thanks to studio tech Brian Kim behind the camera, new Rockstars editors Joshua Stephen Hurd and Abby Friel, and all the supporting editors for their work on this video. Follow me at Lulu_Clemons. Subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching. I'll bite you later.